And flowers. Oh, definitely. Thank you. You have initiative. You can speak to Elizabeth.
We're handing out purple flowers tonight for overdose awareness.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for gathering here tonight for the 9th Annual Overdose Awareness Candlelight Vigil, as we come together to remember those we've lost to overdose and to support those who continue to struggle with substance use. My name is Dottie, and I am just one of a small but mighty committee that comes together every year to put on this vigil. This year's International Overdose Month theme is Together We Can. To those grieving tonight, please know that you are not alone. We are honored to stand with you in your sorrow. We share in your grief. Together, we can offer each other strength and comfort, finding solace in our shared experiences and the memories of those we have lost. Overdose is a tragedy that knows no boundaries. It touches people from all walks of life, crossing every line we draw between us, age, race, background, or circumstance. Every person we remember tonight was loved, and their absence is deeply felt by their families, friends, and our entire community. As we light the candles and read their names later tonight, we keep their memories alive and reaffirm our commitment to preventing further loss. We are here to mourn and discuss how we can save lives and support those in our community. Harm reduction is one of the most effective ways we can do this. Vermont and New Hampshire, like many places across the country, have been profoundly affected by the opioid crisis. 112,000 people died of an overdose in this country in 2023. 231 people died of an overdose in Vermont in 2023, and 430 people died of an overdose in New Hampshire in 2023. While those are a 5% and 11% decrease respectively, it is not enough. One less death is of course meaningful, but one is still too many. We cannot become complacent because we saw numbers decrease locally and nationally this year. Substance use is still a complex issue affecting individuals from all walks of life. It is a public health crisis and a profoundly personal one. Behind every statistic is a story, a human being with dreams, struggles, and a desire for a better life. They were more than their addiction. They were full of hopes, dreams, laughter, and love. Someone who deserved so much more than to become a number in this tragic epidemic. While the challenges we face are significant, harm reduction offers us a way to make a meaningful difference in the lives of those who use substances. Tonight, we are not just here to mourn, we are here to take action. We are here to spread awareness, reduce the stigma associated with substance use, and advocate for better access to treatment and support. Harm reduction is an act of love. It is not about condoning or encouraging substance use. It is about meeting people where they are and offering them the support they need to stay alive and safe. Harm reduction acknowledges the realities of substance use and focuses on minimizing its negative consequences. It is about dignity, respect, and compassion. Examples of harm reduction include providing access to clean needles to prevent the spread of infections, offering naloxone, which we have here tonight, and I encourage you all to take some home, to reverse overdoses and save lives. Creating safe consumption spaces where people can use substances under medical supervision, reducing the risk of overdose. Distributing fentanyl and xylazine testing strips, which are also available here tonight, to help users identify dangerous substances. Having enough inpatient and outpatient treatment, and insurance companies willing to keep their clients in treatment. These measures do not solve all of the problems related to substance use, but they do save lives. They provide a bridge to recovery and give people the time and opportunity to make healthier choices. Harm reduction is a pragmatic, evidence-based approach that recognizes that not everyone is ready or able to stop using substances immediately. but everyone deserves to live with dignity and to be given the chance to make positive changes in their lives. By reducing the harms associated with substance use, we keep people alive long enough for them to seek help when they are ready. We must reject the idea that harm reduction is somehow enabling. The real question we should ask is, are we willing to let more people die while we wait for them to reach a point of total abstinence? Harm reduction is about saying your life matters, and we're here to support you, no matter where you are on your journey. As we leave this vigil tonight, let us carry forward the harm reduction message. Let us advocate for policies and programs prioritizing health, safety, and human dignity. Let's work to reduce stigma and support struggling people in our community. And most importantly, let's commit to saving lives. We can create a community where no one is left behind, where harm reduction is embraced as a vital tool in our fight against overdose. Together, we can ensure that more people have the chance to find their way to recovery in their own time and on their own terms. To those who are struggling with addiction, please know that you are not alone. There is no shame in seeking help, and there are people who care deeply about your well-being. Recovery is possible, and there is hope even in the darkest of times. To the families and friends who have lost someone to overdose, we stand with you in your grief. Your courage in sharing your stories helps to break down barriers and opens the door to meaningful conversations that can save lives. We must continue to educate, advocate, and support those in need. We must continue to speak out against the stigma that surrounds addiction, and we must continue to work toward a world where every person has the opportunity to heal, recover, and thrive. Thank you for your compassion, commitment, and willingness to advocate for change. Let's continue to stand together, not just tonight, but every day, to build a safer, healthier, and more compassionate community, because together we can. Thank you. And I would like to introduce our first speaker, Eric. No, is Eric first? They're trying to pass it off. Looks like Eric's first.
Eric, I'm just going to make sure that this goes up to where it needs to be for you, okay?
Awesome.
All right.
Hey guys.
Almost ready? Okay.
Hey guys, I'm Eric. So, as I look out into the crowd, I've talked to some of the people, I know some of the people, and we all have one thing in common. We've been affected by the disease of addiction. Some of us are in recovery, some of us have lost people, but we all have one common thing, and that's recovery. As I stand here tonight, I have a little over a year clean, and a huge part of that is because of Dottie. When Dottie asks you to do something, you guys know you don't say no. So it's an honor to be here tonight. I'm just like everybody in the bags with their names on the bags behind me. I could have been a statistic. I've overdosed 7 times, had to be Narcan more times than I wanted to count, and I flatlined twice. And that was in a 3-week period. What finally made me reach my breaking point was being diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago, and throughout going through the treatments, it was the decision had to be made. Either keep getting high and stop the treatments and die, or go to treatment, sober living, and stay clean. I stand here today grateful that I made the decision, the uncomfortable decision to go to treatment, because I'm able to stand here tonight and share with you guys that recovery is possible. I've lost several people that I care about deeply due to the disease of addiction. I've had to Narcan multiple people. I've seen people die, and it's traumatizing. That's grief and pain I have to carry with me for the rest of my life. I'm grateful to be standing here tonight because I know that I could be dead. It's taken a lot of work, a lot of patience, and some trying situations to get to this point, but I am living proof that it is possible to get clean if you put your mind to it. And with that, I will let our next speaker share. Thank you.
I'm an addict named Josh. Man, I tell you, it's always an honor when I get asked to speak at events, right? I drove 10 hours to come up here for Dottie. I met Dottie in 2018, my first thing on treatment. And you know, like, it's been a journey since then, right? So in 2018, when I went to treatment, my final breaking point was I had lost my mom, right? And that was my best friend. My mom had begged me for years to get clean, and I just never could. You know, like, I remember sitting in Northeast Correctional Facility, and like, I was okay with that. I would call my mom, and I would tell my mom she needed to accept it, like this was my life. I was gonna get high for the rest of my life, I was gonna be in prison, and eventually I was gonna die of an overdose, and she needed to accept it. I wholeheartedly believe that. You know, and it wasn't until June of 2018 when I went to treatment for the first time where, like, I truly wanted something different. And when I went to treatment, it wasn't easy. You know, for the first time, like, I had opened up about this deep secret that I had carried my whole life, right? Like, Dottie was the first person I'd ever shared with. I was molested by my father as a child. Not even 2 days later, she comes and gets me out of group and tells me I need to call my sister. And I found out that my father had committed suicide after I wrote him a letter trying to get an explanation. He never got the letter, but like, that was pain. And for the first time, like, I didn't want to run from something. I was where I needed to be. And for me, like, that's kind of where my journey began, right? Like, at that point, like, I told Dottie I didn't know what to do. And one of the suggestions was that, you know, I left Vermont to sober living. And so I did that. And I had put together 3 years clean for a little bit, right? And then I had this bright idea I was going to move back to Vermont. And I failed. I didn't fail. I gave everything that I worked hard for up to the disease of addiction, right? Because I didn't know how to deal with the pain. October 4th of 2022, I woke up broken. I'd been using again for almost a year. And I reached out to my sources and I went back to Maryland, where I'm from, Baltimore. That's where I live now. And I went to treatment. You know, like, the best decision I've ever made was to go outside of Vermont because for some reason I just cannot stay clean here. I come up maybe once a year and I see my family and then I leave and I go back. You know, but like, I chased my recovery like I chased my drug addiction for many years, right? Because like, if I don't chase my recovery the way I chased my drugs, I'm not going to be able to stay clean. You know, like, some days it's a struggle because my mom never got to see me clean, but I have to remember, like, my mother would be proud of the person that I am today. You know, like, I'm in college. I never thought I'd be in college. You know, like, I'm taking these strides to better myself every single day. You know, I've lost many people to the disease of addiction. People close to me, I see it every single day. You know, it's a struggle. We're all affected to this. But the one thing I can tell you is that together we can recover. You know, we don't have to recover silently. We can recover together out loud. You know, so if you're struggling, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to let those secrets in that might be eating you alive, because it's the best feeling that I've ever done. With that, I'm going to pass on to our last speaker. Thanks for letting me share.
Step right up to this. Eat the microphone, baby. Oh, George, be so proud of her.
Not my favorite.
No.
Sorry.
Ready?
Am I ready?
Yeah. Okay, let's get this closer to you. I want to make sure we can hear you.
The service here is great. Not my favorite place to be standing. Before, I wrote it all down, but before I start that, I had a friend say to me the other day, she goes, I hate the saying when people say time heals all wounds, because it doesn't. It doesn't with this. That's really loud. Each day can feel like it was the first day you lost somebody. It doesn't heal it, you just get used to it. Time can make it distracting so you don't think about it, but there's times you're in your car, or there's times you hear a song and you just lose it. I just want you to know that if you're suffering with addiction, I see you. I am 18 years and 7 months clean, but I have just 24 hours like everybody else. I'm one of the lucky ones. I woke up this morning. I woke up this morning clean. I woke up this morning sober. I woke up this morning in a clean bed. I woke up with food in my stomach. I want you to know if you woke up this morning, you have a chance of doing better and you're seen. You are somebody to somebody and you're worth getting clean for. If you woke up without your loved ones, they have a name. They deserve to be recognized by their name and not their addiction, and I see them too. I'm angry that I'm burying my generation and that so many of my generation are growing up, that their children are growing up without a parent. It sucks. My family's not exempt from that either, even though I have 18 years and 7 months sober, I stand here with my husband, who left behind children of his own. And with that, I'm not good at speeches, so I'm just going to read him a letter. Dear George, it's been 2,203 days, 52,872 hours, 3,172,320 minutes. George, it feels like a lifetime since you've left us, but at the same time, it feels just like yesterday. Remember when you passed and my pain was so unbearable that I too didn't think I would survive? In that very moment, the pain of losing you far outweighed any of the pain your addiction caused, and let's be honest, that caused a lot of pain. What I would have given just to have had the addict you back for 5 more minutes than to have lost you forever. It took a lot of time, George. Therapy, friends, family, to get us back on our feet, but we did it. I refused and continue to refuse to allow your passing be the reason we stop living. You wouldn't want that for us, and our girls deserve the best life has to offer, which includes a mom that is happy. Addiction is what ultimately took you from us, George, and we both know the miserable journey that was. Our story is unfortunately all too familiar to so many. However, addiction is only part of your story, and it is up to me to continue writing the narrative. This isn't the end of our story, George. I still want the happily ever after that I dreamt of on our wedding day. Because I am now the sole author of our story, I get to choose how it continues. For a long time, I was angry, George. Sometimes I still am. I can't tell you the amount of times I've sat in my car crying and screaming. How could you leave us? How am I supposed to tell our children, your daughter, who meant the world to you? How am I supposed to do this alone when you signed up to do it with me? How could you leave me to do everything? These thoughts and outbursts haunted me for a long time, but slowly we began to develop a new normal. Not a new normal without you, George, but a new normal that included you differently. At first it was weird, but I followed the kids' lead and embraced it. You were cremated, and your urn has been everywhere. You sit on the windowsill for sunlight and fresh air. You sit on the couch for a movie and snuggles. Most recently, you sit in your daughter's closet because she is convinced you are the cause of some shenanigans that she is blamed for. Recently, we went for a college tour in Boston, George. Just me and the oldest. A perfect day for bonding until we hear the GPS say take a right on George Street. We both laughed because once again, you had to be the center of attention for a moment. Hey, George, We have one kid finishing middle school and the other finishing high school this year. They are great kids. They do track, basketball, softball, and trying soccer this year. They are thoughtful, considerate, and compassionate. They understand the feeling of heartache and loss, a feeling they don't wish for anyone. Although you're not physically here anymore, they have both grown into the amazing humans they are because of both of us. So many have experienced the type of loss we did since your passing, a feeling I hate that they have to experience. But because books are intended to be read, I leave our story open to those that want to hear it. I can't tell you the amount of people you've helped since you've left us, George. It gives them hope that they too can create a new normal, that their loved one's identity isn't the addiction that took them from us, and that it is okay to smile, laugh, and create new memories, that it's okay to include loved ones in their day-to-day, that it's okay to cry, it's okay to be okay, and it's okay not to be okay. There's no rule book to losing a loved one to this awful disease. We have to make it up as we go. One last thing before I let you go, George. As I stand here sharing our journey, I want you to know that I'm proud of us. Never could have imagined you up here with me sharing a message that so many need to hear. I'm proud of you for being up here with me and taking accountability for your actions and being a source of good for a community that continues to take care of us. I love you, George Nanopoulos. If I had to do it all over again, I would still choose you. Red Sox are still superior. I love you forever and always, Jen.
Speak into that thing. Hold on. Okay, ready? This is just the What's that? Right. You're gonna give him a little bit more. All right, let me know.
Before we start the candlelight vigil, well, actually, first, I want to thank the speakers so much for coming up here and the vulnerability that all three of them showed tonight. Before starting the candlelight vigil portion of tonight, we're going to take some time now for people to break down their tables while there's still daylight and maybe a break in the rain. And I would ask that if you don't do it now, that you wait until the end of the vigil and refrain from packing up while the names are being read. And as you pack up, I just want to thank the following. The town of Hartford for their unwavering support they have given us for the last 9 years. A special thank you to Scott Hausler for all the behind-the-scene work he does to make sure we have everything we need here at the park. Thank you to the following for your donations: Hannaford Grocery Store, Jody Mon, Nutrition on the Green, Hartford Community Coalition, and Casella Waste. And I want to thank the following community resources for the work you do and for showing up on a holiday weekend: Hartford Community Coalition, Hartford Police Department, Hartford Fire and Rescue, Clara Martin, Valley Court Diversion, Turning Point Second Wind Foundation, Critters Crusade, HCRS, Good Neighbor Health Clinic, Dartmouth Health Addictions and Recovery Programs, Counseling Associates, Headrest, West Lebanon Comprehensive Treatment Center, WISE, Hypotherm, and 802 Scoop. Thank you. Tonight we stand with you in your sorrow, we share in your grief. Together we can offer each other strength and comfort, finding solace in our shared experience. As we hold these candles, let them symbolize our commitment to change. Let them represent our determination to fight for better resources, more compassionate care, and greater understanding. Let them light the way toward a future where overdose is no longer a common story, but a rare exception. May we find peace in their memory, strengthen our community, and hope in the days ahead. And I ask Christina and Jen to come forward, who are going to light the candles as the names are read. Aaron Clark Bush, 29, Bellows Falls, Vermont. Aaron Carr, Bennington, Vermont. Aaron Demers. Abby Lazat, Maine. Abby Cummings, 34, Bennington, Vermont. Adam Cooper, 31, Burlington, Vermont. Aaron Keene, 18. Adam Hale, 44, West Burke, Vermont. Adam Hebert, 26, Leominster, Massachusetts. Adam Nadu, 28, Keene. Jacqueline Elizabeth Lee, 36, West Lebanon, New Hampshire. Jackson Downey, 32, Cornwall, Vermont. Jacob Phelps, 24, Leominster, Massachusetts. Jai Koval, 33, Wilder, Vermont. Jake, Vermont. Jake Hawley, 33, Milton, Vermont. Jake Isham, 33, Lyndonville, Vermont. Jake McAllister, 27, Springfield, Vermont. Jake Wunsch, 21, Brattleboro, Vermont. James Dugas, 24, Pepperell, Massachusetts. James Luce, 23, Queechee, Vermont. James Moses, 29, Stratford, Vermont. Jane Lumbra, 35, Bethel, Vermont. Jeanette Jangraw, 32, Georgia, Vermont. Todd Dorsey, 36, Queechee, Vermont. Todd Morris, 57, Barry, Vermont. Tom Arnold, 57, South Royalton, Vermont. Tommy Arsenault, 24, Massachusetts. Will Henry, 27, Thompson, Vermont. William Clark, 44. William Nelson, 36, Burlington, Vermont. William Lee Brendan Voles, 31, Grand Forks, North Dakota. Zach Bean, 29, Windsor, Vermont. Zach C., Springfield, Vermont. Zachary Paul Guyette. Zachary Stanley, 32, White River Junction, Vermont.
We're gonna be alright. I'm yours, you're mine. Our love is once in a lifetime. We're gonna be alright, even on the line, 'cause our love is once in a lifetime. I said it once, I'll say it time and again. so our story goes. You're all I'll ever know. We're gonna be alright. I'm yours, you're mine. Our love is once in a lifetime. We're gonna be alright, even on the line, 'cause our love is once in a lifetime.
This vigil was started 9 years ago because we had lost a number of people in the Hartford area to overdose, and those are people that were close to us, and we were pretty disturbed at the comments that we saw regarding the deaths of these people who were very loved by their friends and family. And out of frustration, we tried to find something that we could do to help educate the community as well as remember the people who have passed away due to overdose. And the list was 70 people long. The first year we did this, and this year we read 649 names and lit candles for 649 people who have passed away due to overdose. Over 100,000 people are dying in this country every year because of overdose, because there's not enough treatment, because there's not enough understanding of this disease. And holding this vigil every year gives families and loved ones a place to come and remember their person who passed away, where they don't have to feel shame at how the person died. Some of the most emotional moments that I've had in the 9 years have been seeing parents and children hold pictures of their loved ones at this event, and there's nothing that makes it more real than to see the pictures of their sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, when they were full of life, when you could see life in their eyes, when addiction didn't have a grip on them. I have received messages from parents thanking us for doing this because it's the first time their children have been able to come somewhere and hear their parents' name read and feel supported and not feel alone. I have a woman who has come for the last 2 years who found her husband deceased from an overdose, and she has come up to me 2 years in a row and said that this vigil has helped her dispel her anger at what happened. And this is something that is a labor of love for all of us who are involved, because everyone who is involved has lost somebody that they care deeply about due to overdose.